Alexis Bugs Hodgson, and today I'm here with Zolly Fears, who recently just won a Grammy for his work on the album Have You Lost Your Mind Yet with the Fantastic Negrito. So just like, what was your experience working on that album and like all that?
Um, the thing is with that album, it's been very, I'm gonna just say weird, period. Cause when you go in the studio with Fantastic, he is very random. You know what you're working on, but you don't know what you're working on at the same time.
Yeah.
Cause it's just like we're doing something weird each day. So like if we're going in, he does vocals. He's gonna walk in and be like, let's make it weird. So like we're pretty much doing like more fun, creative, quirky stuff to music that would break all the rules normally from like conventional.
Yeah, and like what would you mean by that? Like when he says like let's make it weird, like what does he do that
Like-
makes it weird?
What makes it weird is just like for as an audio engineer, like you like let's say you went to audio school, you learned all the traditional ways, the way you're supposed to do everything. He's there to just fuck you up personally. Is like, this is how you do it? Throw it out the window and we're doing something completely freaky instead. For example, it could literally be like him, like, okay, I'm gonna go sing, but when I sing, I'm gonna put like this cardboard box over me, so now it's like a weird space we doing it. Or like he sings his verse or plays guitar and he just like throw some weird effects on it. I don't know, make it freaky. Like it's open to interpretation to how the engineer determines what weird, freaky, quirky is in their mind.
Yeah. So as an audio engineer, that album must have been like a project.
Oh,
wasn't it? Like how long did it take to make it?
Months. Like you record tens of 15s of 20s of hundreds of songs. Like it could just be like ideas he had. Boop beep boop.
So not all
record.
songs go into the album.
Of course not. That's
Okay.
because like with any process with an artist or a musician, period, their like whole thing is like they have like a list of songs that they did, like just condensed down. So it's like they can start off with like, okay, I recorded 50 songs. I gotta narrow this 50 by half for 25. So like they're picking the ones that they like, the ones they don't like, probably hitting their friends up or other producers that worked on this stuff. It's like, what y'all think about this? And like they getting lists from stuff.
Yeah.
And then that 25, they might be like, okay, I need to narrow this 25 down to like 15, 10.
Yeah.
And then maybe even go further, like, okay, I need to narrow this 10 down to 5 or so on and so forth. It depends if they're doing like a EP, LP, or album, or they just want to make the song and put it out as a single by itself. So like, it just literally depends on like how many they may record, how much they don't want to pare it down. And like it's always a process because like there's always songs that don't make the cut for albums. Maybe like in each artist process is different. So like some artists like they recorded 10 songs, these are 10 songs.
Yeah.
Other artists, I did 100 songs. I need 10 from this.
Okay, yeah. So every artist's like process is very unique and different.
Yeah.
You would say.
Yeah, and like the X is just like, we recorded a bunch of tracks. Some tracks people would never hear. Fantastic Negrito. Yeah, but this is what like once you get to know Fantastic Negrito, it's like this is what we like affectionately know him as.
As X.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just clearing that up for
Yeah.
the
Sorry
audience
about that.
as well. So just kind of like backtracking before working on the whole album and kind of just those big projects, what really got you started in like the industry and like what was one of your first memories do you think that like really made you want to do this? Like made you realize like
Well, the very first memory was like the first time I discovered a music program. So like in middle school, I was selected by a counselor to be studied, and like he was just studying like young African American kids, specifically boys, to like for his paper, so he can get like another degree in his teaching bag, I guess. So like, yeah, I'm a PhD now type of deal. I don't know how that works. Didn't stay in college that long. And so pretty much I was chosen. I said yeah to it because I get out of third period. Yeah, get me out right before lunch. Yup.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like go take the class, like chill, like just chat with us, like just talk to us young 8th grade kids about life, random stuff, like how we're thinking, like how do we move, like what really makes us tick.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one day in one of the classes, he like, yeah, like I got something I want to show you. I'm like, uh-huh. And like he pulls out his laptop and it's a music program on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, my homie put this on my laptop. It's called Fruity Loops.
Mm-hmm.
It's now known as like FL Studio because like if you want to be professional production, you gotta call it FL. But Fruity Loops, that's how I learned about it. And like pretty much I was just making abstract beats on the laptop. Other kids were listening. It's like, oh, you learning it? Yeah, I learned how to do it. Like, is it tight? Can you make something like Gucci Mane? I don't know. I'm trying. Like it's just, but like everything came out like weird and abstract, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of like what set me on the path to like start doing music as like a thing, because like I enjoy just being weird and making beats.
Yeah. And so like other than music, was there anything else that you wanted to pursue or that you kind of just took up interest in?
I don't really. Oh wait. There was a handful of things.
Okay.
I wanted to be the first black president.
Okay.
Yeah.
Missed that one.
By a black. Yeah. Barack, if you're watching this,
Count your days.
I'm upset. Yeah, I wanted to be the first black president. I wanted to be an astronaut. But seriously though, what I really wanted to be was a chef.
Yeah.
Cause like this is very progressive thinking from an 8th grader. Is that everybody gonna be hungry? They like a chef would never be out of a job. So like go be a chef. I don't know what that truly entailed, but I wanted to be a chef.
Yeah, I mean, thinking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's always got to eat, so I think it's
And
very progressive for an 8th grader.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I pay for McDonald's each week, so yeah, like it's gonna work. Like foolproof.
I was a Chipotle grill, so I'm gonna have to ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No Chipotle. No, I'm good.
I got top of the line training. 4 hours in front of a computer. It's a lot for you. I know how to grill prepackaged steak now.
Nice.
So just kind of like, what's one of the first songs that you made, like, kind of once you started getting that interest in?
Ooh. So I went to a high school shortly after for my freshman and sophomore year called East Bay Arts. It was located in Hayward, but they moved now. And we had a recording studio there.
Yeah.
So like one of the first songs that we did was called Block Party.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and another student, his name was Enoch. I think he was a junior at the time. Mm-hmm. And we made the beat, and then like we got like everybody together to like do the song over the beat. Yeah. And we had a recording studio, so we was like all like figuring out how the recording studio equipment worked. Like we had like a little console board, like we pressed the buttons, the faders moved. It was like hella tight. It was made by DigiDesign, which was like top of the line equipment at the time. Like we got to learn Pro Tools, which is recording software, industry standard. And like with this DigiDesign board, like messing with it, like, oh yeah, this is tight. We got microphone, we got this, we can do a lot. Mm-hmm. So like pretty much we started making the song called Block Party, and one of the homies at the time, his rap name was Jay Swift when in high school. I don't know what his rap name is now. He may have changed it. I don't know. But like, no, he wrote the hook. That's like the most memorable thing I remember from him. It's like, hey, it's a block party. We about to get it started. We about to turn this thing out. Like it was like dope, and like it was like a posse cut type of deal. So like we all was rapping on it, like just having fun, like in high school making music.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And like going back into like the like you were talking earlier about like the out part, how you guys recorded it, where he said it like out and pause and then out, and then he went back in with like the out
Oh
part,
yeah.
and like he overlaid that, and I was just kind of wondering, like how is that like kind of the same thing they do in the studio as well, like recording ad libs and how all that works. I was just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, it kind of goes the same way because like
Background vocals.
yeah, because like so let's take R&B music for example. Like you can stack your vocals, so like you'll have like your main line of what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you hear the song by her, like Lights On, like you can hear her like vocal stack. Sorry, as I keep picking at my eye. You can hear the vocal stack like of little lights on, little lights on. It's like a little low baritone voice in the background. She had a stack of her actual like two other vocals, like just saying it together.
Yeah.
Then you got songs like with the Migos.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where the ad libs come in,
Yeah.
and like everybody got like their signature ad lib, like what they do, and like with the Migos, like we take what does Takeoff say? Wait, Quavo, Offset, Takeoff. Yeah. So what Takeoff says is like like in the background, like just randomly, Mama.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm assuming that it's Takeoff. I could be wrong, but like they all have like their signature ad libs that say in the background. It's like Quavo go ice.
Yeah.
Migo, like it's pretty much like it's just like call and response type of deal.
Mm-hmm. And those are recorded like.
Oh, yeah, they're recorded separately. Like some people just literally like after they lay their verse, like they'll like record a second track different and like lay down like just say random things, reacting to it like ooh.
Yeah.
Like just like anything like make it like hype up the track
so they're
for
like,
themselves.
It's like kind of live reaction almost
Yeah.
onto the track. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And so like also with creating beats and stuff, artists have different processes. So I'm guessing some artists they choose the beat beforehand, but like with Fantastic Negrito, you guys made the beat along with writing the song almost, or like along with creating the song.
Yeah. So like there's like different trains of thought. Like so like traditionally with hip hop, R&B, even pop music, people will come in with pre-made instrumentals, beats. So that way like they already have written to it, they got lyrics, they start singing along, or as most people do, like they just come in, grab a beat, it's like I want to freestyle to this and just do my thing, just say anything, and they will record one line at a time, just like how Eazy-E did in the Straight Outta Compton movie.
Oh, okay.
Because like that's another way to do it. Because if you see that movie, is like for example, like he like cruising down the street in my 6'4", stop.
Mm-hmm.
So like what we call that is a punch in. So like after the line, like it's gonna play again. So you now in studio, what they're gonna hear is cruising down the street in my 6'4", and then they'll go right after that, jocking the bitches, slapping the hoe, and then like stop and then go line by line.
I was curious about like in the studio, what is the artist hearing in like those headphones versus like what the audio producers and stuff are listening to like outside of that room. I've always been like, which is the inside that's like soundproof, like they.
I mean more so like when
not
they
soundproof, but like isn't there that one button where they can kind of like you always see
record.
that in the TV shows where like the artist is talking and then someone will press the button and like mute them behind like the wall so they can.
Oh yeah, so like if you have like a booth with like a separate thing, because like some studios they do have booths. The one that we're in currently, there's no booth. Like we can close the curtains to like give them like a degree of separation, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But like what happens is that what you do is you mute all the music in the studio. That way when you record, it's like the cleanest possible recording possible. Because like what happens is you might have some bleed through coming from the speakers, and the reason why you do that is because one, you don't want to cause feedback. That's the sound, because like the sound's going to the microphone, which is spitting out from the speaker, which is going back into the microphone, so it just creates a loop.
Yeah.
But what they're hearing in headphones is literally like the beat, their own voice, if they want to hear their own voice. While they're rapping, because like it's what we call input. So pretty much like we click in Pro Tools, there's like a little green eye, you can click it and they can hear themselves as they rap.
Okay.
Sometimes they're thrown off because there's like a delay for it. So like when you say something, so like let's say what's up, you can either hear it instantaneously if your sample rate is good enough, or like closest to like 32.0. But like the longer the sample rate delay is, the more delayed you're gonna hear what you say. So if I say what's up, it could say like half a second later what's up. So it could throw you off when you're doing your thing musically. So some people when they record don't want to hear themselves, that way they don't fumble when they hear it's like, I want to hear myself twice. What the heck?
Yeah.
And other people is like they want to hear themselves that way, like when they sing or rapping, like they're making sure like their enunciation is proper, making sure like as they doing it live, everything's going smooth.
And that's also like with the similar things when they're performing on stage. They have those little earpieces. Is that kind of like the same thing as the headphones?
Yes. Because what those are called in-ears. So when they perform live on stage, like they can hear themselves in their ears, but also the second way they do it, if they don't want to have in-ears, there's like monitors on the booth. On the stage that can spit out what they want to hear on stage. So like they want to hear their vocal in the beat, boom. You might have a bassist that they want to hear more of themselves as they play. Like I want to hear myself and the drummer, boom. The drummer's like I want to hear me and the bass, and like so on and so
almost
forth.
each artist kind of has their own like little, so like everyone
separate mix.
Okay, so that it's like no one's getting tripped up by the other person. In a way, and like
in a live situation.
Concentrated, like helps with focus. Okay, yeah, that's really cool. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and also like way back in the day, like how this would go, like they will all play live. So like let's take Motown for example. Motown, famous record label, still exists to this day.
Yeah.
And like how they used to do it is like they would position everybody in the room specifically, and like there'd be microphones, and like let's say back in the days like one microphone, like they position everybody in the room perfectly, and they all perform it live.
Yeah.
And like that's the only take you got.
Okay.
Or but once like technology got advanced, like 8-track, they can record everybody on separate reels of track, like on 8 different tracks literally, and then like play it along that way.
Okay.
So like as technology advanced, like the more we can do with music type of deal.
Yeah, and like speaking of like technology and the music industry and how much it's advanced, do you have any preference between like working with real instruments versus like with maybe programs versions of instruments?
Me personally, like I like the feel of like an actual person playing, like specifically for drums, because like you get the characteristic and personality.
Yeah.
Like, but what's dope about like the pre-canned stuff or like the fake piano, the fake organ, the fake guitar is that you can have it all in one place for you to play out. And like when you do that, like maybe later on, like you can go get a real guitar player to play it, or go get a real drummer to do it, or so on and so forth. Like there's a lot of flexibility with it.
It does allow for a lot more variety within the music, and like I think that's really cool because sometimes I'll be listening to like rap songs and I'll hear an instrument that usually some people wouldn't like consider to be in like a rap song. But how do you think
a kazoo?
Yeah, but I was gonna say how I just lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, how do you think instruments kind of play a part as well in it, like different kinds and just like bringing new variations of stuff into music? Like, you know, we were talking about Jhené Aiko and how she uses her singing bowl in her songs. So is there like, I don't know where I was going with this, but
like a personal touch to it, or like a feel for
exactly. Do you have any of your own personal touches that you like to put into your music?
Ooh, I mean, like when I make beats, whenever that happens. No, like for me, it's just like I just like still making weird stuff. Like even to this day, like not every like I have it's like some stuff is formulaic, but like I always want to experiment with like how certain sounds work, or like experiment with like a different genre of music, like vaporwave. Like some people with vaporwave, like you take like old 80s songs and like just flip it, sample it a different way, like pitch it down and like make it like a whole different thing. So like like I did some stuff similar, or like with some Sade songs. Just to like experiment, just to see how it works, like just to make that type of stuff. And then like another thing that like I had like for some reason I had like I was infatuated with like an accordion sound in Reason, which is like another beat making program. So like some random accordion, and I think it was like off the NN19 or something. I was just fascinated to start putting accordion in everything. So it's like once you like discover a new sound, it's like I want to put it in everything. I got this new clap. I want to use all that every time. I'm like no. But yeah, it's like what the personal touch is just like really like how do you interpret like what you're playing. So like as far as like real instruments go, like let's say you made everything digitally at 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and like, okay, I want to put real instruments on it. What you're doing at that point is adding the more human element to it, the human timing.
Okay.
Because like
Yeah.
when you play everything in programs, it's literally very static, robotic. There's no swing to it.
Yeah.
So it's like no real human
It's not
emotion.
just, like flowy kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, like once you start putting like actual humans on it, like, okay, I just digitally played the guitar. Let me go get a real guitarist to play like these parts and like let them do their thing. It's like now you got this guitar person just playing, being a virtuoso for you, just like doing their thing. Like maybe there's a guitar solo that pops up and they just start just freaking it
Yeah.
in the middle of the solo, like in like you're capturing like that human emotion and how they feel onto a track.
Yeah.
And like that's another thing that's like very important as an engineer is like people's comfortability.
Yes.
Because like you want people to like be themselves, feel comfortable in the studio, and like give what we call like their best performance
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say like, how is it like I'm sure some artists probably get shy or like nervous working in a studio with other people kind of like watching, and even though they're really not judging too much, they're kind of all there to do their job and like kind of help make it the best that it can be. But like, how do you guys kind of help the artists sometimes with creating like a comfortable environment?
I mean, like what the environment is for artists is like what they're comfortable in. Like literally, I literally still know people to this day that would bring 15 people to come do a song with them.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. None of them is on the song. They just there for like the vibe, just to like give them
Yeah.
that energy
Mm-hmm.
type of deal. It's like, yeah, I'm in the studio with my mom, and like they all just kicking it, smoking weed, drinking drink, and like everybody's just doing their thing. And this is like
Yeah.
rap R&B shit.
And really
Sometimes
fun
funk
way
shit. Yeah, it's like a vibe for them that's like if it's like chaotic, it's like they're the chaos is calm to them. Like this is like their home space. That's what makes them
Yeah.
feel comfortable. This is what they were going to do. Sometimes people just want to be in the studio by themselves, like just me and the music. So like I would probably like turn off the lights, make it like dark, like set the mood for them. That way they can go ahead and like record, or like they're in the booth by themselves, like can't see me, can't see nobody, just them, headphones, music, and like that's what they needed.
Yeah.
Like each artist is different as far as like creating that vibe for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes like they want you as the engineer to also kind of produce as well, which is like helping them push their boundary as artists
Yeah.
to do like more, like bring them to that next height. Maybe they need you to like come over and like reel them in. It's like, hey, you getting too weird with it. Let's bring you to a little bit more of this
Yeah.
pocket this way. Like yeah.
Yeah.
So like as an engineer, like sometimes you are producing, so it's like you're helping guide the flow to where they need to be alongside them. It's like you both on the journey,
Yeah.
going through everything, and like that's what makes like the personal touch for everything like perfect. Because like there's people who literally specialize in just like vocal recordings, and then like coming in like working with an artist just for their voice only.
Yeah.
And like there's people who come in and just specialize strictly like making sure like the band plays super tight. And
Yeah.
it's like it's various things that can get into music that gets really in depth.
The industry definitely, it's like a very big community, and like it's a very teamwork thing. But then
Yeah.
like when you think about it, it's also a very small community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like wondering, like, how did you kind of get your foot in the door? Because also making it in the industry, you kind of have to know people, or
Mhm.
like have good luck, or like make
Yeah.
get noticed or something. So like, how did you kind of get your foot into the door to get to more to get to reach more experiences?
Like that's it. So it's interesting that you say that, because like there's definitely like different things about that makes it to where like that got me to this point currently. So like for one example, my uncle was cutting one of his homegirls like friend's hair, and like she was like, yeah, like my friend aka Frank, he's looking for an engineer. My uncle's like, oh, my nephew does that. And like that's what got me in the link with aka Frank. Aka Frank, rapper, producer, engineers, hella dope. Like listen to all his music when like I was in high school, and like affiliated with HBK gang. So that's like I Am Sue, Pilo, J Ant, Rossi, Cool John, Skipper. I'm probably missing hella more people because they deep as fuck. as far as like how their whole brand and people and group are. And like, you know, this is the person like that had like those type of connections because they all did music when they was in high school and they was popping as they was in high school, and like they met other people who was popping around the same time, like Irk the Jerk, now known as Kevin Allen, Monty Draper, like, and pretty much like that's how I kind of got my foot in the door with those folks, is like through Frank. And like that's when it's like me at my most rookie of rookie audio engineer experience, like trial by fire, like let me like be either fucking triumphant or failing dramatically on shit. And that was dope. Me going with my homies to try out for Team Backpack, which is like a rap cipher thing that we watched all throughout high school. Like meeting those folks, like going to those events, like talking to them like behind the scenes, like getting to meet people like Shark Sinatra, the Mob's Jedi, Armani, Duckworth, meeting oh my god, there's so many people I met today. Chrissy Blanco, meeting, ooh, there's more people I'm forgetting. Oh, there's so many people. Oh, Jeff Turner and Peoples, like just meeting all these folks that is like a milestone, because like now it's like a whole new network of people that I'm meeting, and like they're all doing their own separate things. Then it's like when I'm with my homies, like, oh, we got tickets to go to a random music expo, let's all go. Oh, we all don't get to go because like we all feel like there's some other stuff better to do, so like let me just go by myself. And like now that's how I get to meet people like Jason Cropper, meeting other audio engineers and like people within music within their respective platforms, like Loic Mastrucci, who's like a VP for Twitter right now, meeting Frank Socorro, who did like all the mixing for like Pharrell, Amy Winehouse, like just getting to meet like all these people from that. And then like Jason, who like worked for like Vintage King selling gear, opened me up to like the live sound world now. So now I'm doing live sound with a company called CT, Creative Technology. That's where I get to meet like all the other background audio people who've been doing this for years, doing massive works for like television, live sports, conferences on conferences on conferences. Like this is their bread and butter. Like they're doing live for everything. Like it's like pretty much like you're pulling like all these resources from like all these people, because like you're going out and taking that step to just meet them, or like a random opportunity occurs. So like how I met Fantastic Negrito was because I worked at a youth center called the Reach Ashland Youth Center in San Leandro. Well, in Ashland, I should say, because Ashland is an unincorporated area in Alameda County. So like there's like literally a board of people that just oversees that spot. Like there's no mayor, there's none of that. It's like unincorporated. And like worked for the arts team, and like Fantastic Negrito was looking for like artwork for his Please Don't Be Dead album, his second album. That won the Grammy. And like, you know, we go in there, we get a tour of the space, like all my friends who does art, like showing him like the art pieces they made based on the title of his album. And me, I don't do no art. I do music. I'm an engineer. I work on Pro Tools. So it's like my mentor at the time, Joaquin Newman, he showed me, he pretty much told me, he was like, hey, you know, like, you should just come with us. Like, you know, music guy, you do music, you engineer, you teaching the kiddos at the center how to make beats, how to record them, like recording studio sessions with them, making great music with them. So like, why not come with us and try it out? Like, sure.
That's really cool. Yeah, so kind of like, we were talking earlier as well about working with Fantastic Negrito and like kind of looking back at his different albums and like how they kind of changed as they progressed, and just how you said that they would just get weirder. And then, you know, music is very much up to interpretation for the audience, which I think is the beautiful thing about music, is everybody has their own viewpoint. But, you know, working in music, do you think like there's any little Easter eggs or things in the albums that Fantastic Negrito has produced that the audience wouldn't necessarily have picked up immediately? Or just in any work, you know?
I mean, but, okay, I see that. All right, so well, let's start with Fantastic Negrito first before I go into this other example with my favorite music artist, which is Lupe Fiasco.
Okay, yeah.
But Fantastic, the thing that I felt like was key for him is like, one, he always represents Oakland. He wants to show people like how dope Oakland is, how dope the Bay Area is in general, but especially like folks from Oakland, which I think is like part of the reason why he super synergizes with me is because like I'm born and raised in East Oakland, grew up in near the Village, which is like where a very big crack dealer was selling crack. Like literally, I think he died before I was like a few years before I was born type of shit. So like you still felt like the aftermath of what he did growing up, and like he wants to like just show like the beauty of that came from us like coming from these environments and like growing to become like the musicians or engineers, producers that we are now type of deal. And
music almost provides a voice.
Yeah, and like pretty much like this is what he's sharing. And the second thing that I always keep in mind when he is doing this music and like sharing with me and the other engineers that he's working with, like his team, is that this is what stuck to me is what he said was like, I'm making this music for my kids. So like as they get older, they can look back and it's just like, wow, my dad was just a weird musician, but also it's like this is like stuff that is going on during these periods, like the last days of Oakland. Is like pretty much, yeah, these are all stories that they can hear. Like even you could even infer from like each title like what the album could be about. Like Last Days of Oakland, gentrification.
Yeah.
Please Don't Be Dead, like talking about his accident that left him in a coma and like messed up his guitar playing hand, which I believe is like his right hand. I think that he actually posted the photos of him like taking the photos with all the people that was in that hospital with him. And with Have You Lost Your Mind Yet, it's like the pandemic has happened, unprecedented, like that we are living through this in our lifetime. Like we're told to like stay inside, stay indoors. Like how many people like freaked out because they can't have these social interactions. Like people literally lost their minds over it.
Yeah.
So like each album got narratively different, but also sonically different because like we're now pushing the boundaries as each album goes. Yeah. So it's like you're going further and further and further into experimentation with it all, you know? So it's like we're doing what we call roots music. So like what we're rooted in, like what pretty much like it's not like one genre, like we're not stuck to like one thing. Like, oh, this is rock, this is blues, this is R&B. Like no, this is whatever we say it is type of deal.
Yeah. So
like we want to push the envelope for that. So to go into this next example, there's a song by Lupe Fiasco that I find to be like super like compelling, crazy, just like outside the box writing type of deal. It's a song called He Say, She Say. And like what he does is that he raps the same verse, literally the same exact verse, but from two different perspectives. The first verse is in the perspective of the mother. So it's like, how did it start? And like and each of them is like talking to the dad, the father of the kid. So like so he opens it up saying, I want you to be a father. He's your little boy. And you don't even bother. Like, brother without the aura, he is starting to harbor, cool of food for thought, but for you, he's a starver. So pretty much like, it's like the baby mama, the wife, is literally laying in, telling him like, do you see how much your son is hurting without you? Like you're not here. Like he literally needs you here, but you don't want to even be here. Like it's having an impact. Like in the verse, he even goes on to explain, saying like the teachers know he's smart, but like he just doesn't give a fuck. Like he's acting out because like he wants to come and see you.
Yeah.
And then like second verse, now he's speaking from the son's perspective. I want you to be a father. I'm your little boy, and you wouldn't even bother. Like, brother, the aura, I'm starting to harbor, cooling through for thought, but for you, I'm a starver. Starting to use red markers on my work. The teachers say I know I'm much smarter, but I'm hurt. I used to hand my homework in first, like I was the classroom starter. And it's like, heck, like pretty much like, it's like he's rapping like the same verse. It's like evoking two different emotions, but it's the same exact verse. Like if somebody else were like try to pull that off, it's like, oh, it's like it probably would come off as corny, but like the fact that like it's like two different deliveries, two different like it's like if you was like the dad listen to this, like damn, like he could probably brush off the wife, but like when the son is saying the same exact thing to him that his mom said without his mom like saying it to the son, because like that does
for him.
Yeah, like and the son saying the same thing, just like it hits different for that person from that perspective. So
it's
like
personal. It's like
it's like damn, like I should be here more for my son, like for my kid.
First verse you hear it, you listen, and then the second verse you like hear it. It's like grounded to you.
Yeah.
And,
That's where like the interpretation of like music is like crazy, because like how you flip it is like invoking a different emotion, and like Lupe does this with like countless songs. It's like hella songs that literally is being studied in Harvard, Stanford, and stuff that he has done because these people, because like what he does is like so clever.
Yeah. And like for you personally, is there a song that you've written, produced, or like helped create that like one of the first ones that really made you like realize that I'm good at this and that I want to keep doing this and I'm proud of this?
That is a great question. What? For engineering, perhaps?
For engineering, and then also just personally.
Well, for engineering, it was one of AKA Frank's songs from, I think it was AKA Frank Volume 2. Oh my God, my phone is not in my pocket to help me. All right, let's go and try to figure this out off the top of the dome. No, I'm messing around. But it was like a few songs like when I first started working with AKA Frank is like, okay, it's like I know I'm not like the best, but like I'm getting better at this because how my ear is hearing things. And like it was like AKA Frank Volume 2, and then he went into BKA Frank, if I remember this timeline correctly. And BKA Frank is like his Valentine's Day album that happened. And like it was this song called Slow Down. It was him, Rossi, and it was like one other person, I think it's Brandon. Like how I was like mixing it and like heard it sonically is like it like I felt like it was coming together, and I was super proud of that because like it's literally like I think I really did it with this song. And like once I heard it, I was like, okay, I'm really getting better at this. I know I can do this. So like it gave me more confidence to like keep going, experiment more, learn more about EQ, and learn more about what auto-tune is, reverb spaces, stacking reverbs, compression, what's the different compression settings, like how hard is a compression level of fucking 30, which is limiting at that point. So it's like I'm fucking up the song actually. But I'm learning more about this, like experimenting more with sound, because like I want to know like what all this does. That way, like if I hear something, I can like bring it out of the track. Like, oh, I know where to go and take this. So like it's like building up the toolkit for what I was doing. So like Slow Down was definitely one of those tracks for mixing. And then for myself, if it's like a song that I made for myself, it was a song called Trying. Like I wrote it to like a random beat on YouTube, because like it's really like I write for like lyrical exercises, nothing to like put out or anything, because like I don't have no interest in being a music artist, let alone producer. Like I love engineering, this is what I do. But that song Trying is like me reflecting on everything. It's like how did I start off? Have you ever felt like you do the same shit every day? Eating the same food, but it's on a different plate. Roaming the same world, but it's in a different space. That's how I'm feeling on this current day. It's the world against a team of me. It's coming at me with this energy. No longer a friend, but an enemy. I tend to drink Hennessy and meditate on what's longevity. Stare out the road that's ahead of me. It's like me just being like super introspective in my own head, because like most of the time, like I'm always in my own head, thoughts like quiet, focused on something at any given point in time.
So you don't want to like produce or like create any more of your own music going forward?
I mean, like I'll produce for fun as far as like instrumentals and beats go, but like as far as like being the artist of everything, like nah.
Alright, so like what's one of like your worst songs that you think like you would go back to?
Oh, this song is horrible. So it's cringe now. Now that I go back and look at it, like me and my friend Anjanette agrees.
Not worst, like most cringe song.
Oh, it's cringe.
Because it's all a growing experience.
Yeah. Like it's a very, very cringe song. It was called this song called Purple Ties. I wrote it as a way for me to start learning how auto-tune works because I never had much experience with auto-tune and I can auto croon a little bit, not really sing, but I can auto croon a little bit. But so like it was just me figuring out how auto tune works. That's like the main experiment of the song. So like I wrote it, did it, and I was like, oh, let me get my friend to do it with me, and like got my friend Anjanette to hop on with me and do the song. And like at the time he was like, yeah, we fucking did that. As we had listened back to it years later, it was like, oh my god, what are we doing? Cringe. So yeah, like that's probably like one of those songs, and you'll never find that song anywhere. I still have it. I got the file. I'll burn it to the ground. But yeah, that's like the most cringe song that I've done, for as an artist for myself.
Yeah. So I think let me see. Do you have any Did we cover a story in this one, or is that the first take?
Which story? There's various
the one
stories.
About, okay, yeah. What's one of your most memorable experiences? Maybe not the greatest, but like most memorable experience working in a studio with an artist.
I mean, there's very many of them. There's that man J Rock doing 100 takes in the studio. You know what I'm talking about, Rock. There's the time that I got to meet and record the Jacka, meet and record Little B. I'm blessed, by the way, by the bass guy. But like I say, the most memorable one was working with a music artist named Captain Crook. White man, new to rapping. Like, like me and Frank literally like worked with this dude to like get him better and better and better and better at like not only like writing music but like writing the flows, like doing like different things with the beat to like with his voice, like cadence and everything, like just honing his skill in a sense.
Yeah.
So like Frank would make the beats, I'd be in studio with him and Frank recording him, like with me and Frank giving our input and advice, and like at first it was very cringe, I'm not gonna lie, like Captain Crook, like pirate rap, yeah, bruh. But as like time went on, like and he got like better and better, it's just like, man, we fuck with Crook, we fuck with Captain Crook. Yeah. And it's like like he decided to hang it up, like in my opinion, way too soon. But like during those times, like it was very, very, very like rewarding, just like working with a new artist from the ground up and like seeing the progress and trajectory to where he could go.
Yeah, I think like even myself, I thought it was easy. I thought it was easy to make music. I was like, oh, you just go in and record like your voice over some beats. But like once you kind of like start doing it, you realize like, oh, this is not easy, especially with all the mixing, the fading. Like it definitely takes real talents. But like when you first started like really getting into it, like what's one thing that you found so much more difficult that you thought was gonna be like easier? Like what's your biggest struggle with like working in engineering? Like what's the hardest thing that you have to do sometimes?
Really, it's learning when to stop. Cause like it's always something that could be tweaked, cleaned up, another effect added on, some other layers. And like sometimes simplicity is key, but other times it's like you really want to go super deep into it with a microscope. Be like, tweak this, fix that. Like solo something, just listen to the whole song, just the verse by itself, just listening, like tweaking stuff, and like sometimes
listening's probably gotta.
Yeah, because like each time you listen back, it's like, oh, I gotta fix that, and then sometimes like you're ruining what the characteristic of the song is. So it's like really learning like when to stop overcorrecting or even just stop for the day doing that and then just come back revisiting. It's like, okay, so I was tripping about like that one little thing because that one little thing probably gave it that characteristic that the song needed.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, a lot of the audience doesn't even notice so many of the quirks. Like, it's really the people behind it. It's like those little tiny things. Because I remember I was working on this one film for it was a contest, and I remember we took it into one of my friends, like he was an audio engineer, and watching him like clip the audio with like these little tiny frequencies that I would never have even thought of, and like to me it barely sounded any different, but he was like, oh, you hear that? I was like
that is definitely an engineer
I was like, no.
thing. Well, every engineer does this. Like if the artist in studio, like we're doing our thing and it's like, hey, watch this. You hear that?
I was like,
sound different.
I was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's like, so for some people, like when you're really in tune with like how audio works, like some music artists do know how audio works, and like they can hear those like minute differences. Other people, like it's just like, cool, bro. Like, and so pretty much it's like you gotta really know like what's going on and like
depend on the genre.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
really cool. And I think I kind of just wanted to end off on asking, like, talking about kind of the misconception of making it in the industry. As I kind of briefly did the quotation marks, but I wanted to kind of dive more into that. It's like a lot of people think once you make like a hit or you're kind of working alongside big artists or even with like a Grammy that you've kind of made it in life and like you're set. But do you think that's true? Like, would you consider yourself successful?
All right, so to answer the first part of that question, to answer that misconception of like making it, is like, as I put it, the hood don't care about your accolade.
Yeah.
Like when I got the Grammy, I told some of my partners, they just like, oh, cool. Other people, they just come like, oh my God, you got a Grammy, bruh.
Yeah.
Oh, like you said that shit was gonna happen too. And like everybody thinks like this big thing, and like I'm big time now. It's like, bruh, no, I'm not. Like it's just like it's like one of the biggest stepping stones you get, that accolade, that achievement, that hit, working with this artist. But it's like now it's like, how do you use that accolade, that achievement, to platform you into like that next thing? Because like you don't want to sit back and be like, oh, this is good, I can chill here. Like that's, now you're just getting complacent. So like you want to like further yourself. Like if winning the Grammy was the end all be all for me, then I would probably want to stop doing music now. Like that's it, I got the Grammy.
Yeah.
Mark that. Good, done. But no, like what's next is like, what do I do after I win the Grammy? Like, do I go in and work harder? Do I go in and like...
It's like adding to your resume.
Yeah, like you adding to your resume, adding to like what makes you dope.
Yeah.
As yourself, to your person. And do I consider myself successful? No. Because like having the Grammy is like, this is all tight, cool. Like I'm still hearing it to this day, damn near 8 months later.
Yeah.
That, oh my God, you won a Grammy, it's so tight, bro. I'm like, yeah, I know, bro, but like I learned in March, bro. Leave me alone. Because like me mentally, I'm kind of past it at this point, and like I don't really talk about me having a Grammy like that, because like it's cool, but like I'm still now thinking like, what's next? Like other people's like making it sound so simple, like, oh, just go get another Grammy. It's like, bruh, first off, do you know the process of getting a Grammy? You gotta submit the shit.
But it opens so many doors. Like now that you do have it, I'm guessing maybe.
It depends how. It depends how I use having the Grammy at that point. Yeah. It's like another weapon in your arsenal, another tool in the bag. It's like, okay, at certain places where I was denied, I can use the fact that I have a Grammy to open up a door that I never had access to before.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, so it's like a new key at this point.
I think that's really great, and honestly, I think that's a great way to end the podcast, is just like, keep working forward and use your accomplishments to kind of just catapult you into new experiences and Actually, before we end, I want to re-record the intro. So don't stop it. I'm just gonna go.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm Alexis Bugs Hodgson, and I'm with Zolly Fears, who is an audio engineer who recently won a Grammy for his work on the album "Have You Lost Your Mind Yet" with Fantastic Negrito.
Nice.
49